welcome back to my channel. My name is Asni Verma and you are watching Try to Thrive. So finally the day has come. Today I am going to share my story, my journey of learning this beautiful language. And if you think like I cannot speak this language confidently and fluently ever, this language means English. Just wait and watch the entire video and listen carefully because this story will inspire you to take one step today itself. And believe me, your inner voice will gonna say like if she can do, I can definitely do. Believe me. So let's get started. But before starting this video, I want to tell you something like maybe this video gonna be a little longer than usual. So if you are someone who don't have enough time or really busy, so you can switch at 1.5x. Okay. Guys, basically I am from a village, a small village. So the first thing that happened to me was like I got admission in a government school that is in my village. So there the English teacher taught me many things, but everything was in Hindi. Like English subject in Hindi. So as a result, when I passed fifth standard from there, I wasn't able to read, to write, or understand or speak this language at all. But A, B, C, D, as any other student, that was the only thing that I know when I passed my fifth standard from that school. A, B, C, D. That was the first phase. Now, after this first phase, I got admission in like in sixth standard in JNV, that is Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. You must have heard about this, right? So when I went there, I was thinking like I am from a Hindi medium school and I was afraid of English. Uh, I I was really afraid of this, like how will I manage things there, because this school is totally English medium school. So the first day and in that school in sixth standard, and the first embarrassing moment came to mind like that day, and that was my one of my teacher asked me to introduce myself in English, and I was totally blank because I couldn't even utter a single word in English. Believe me, I couldn't. No way, not at all. So it was really bad for me, but somewhere it was kind of, in class, everyone was like me, except 3 or 4 students. Everyone was like me. So it was somewhere manageable. But वो कहते हैं ना, because it was why it was manageable, because कहते हैं ना कि जब साथ वालों को भी कुछ ना आता हो ना, तो एक अलग ही रिलीफ मिलता, भले ही हमें कुछ ना आता हो. तो वो हुआ उस टाइम पे, तो दैट वाज एम्बेरसिंग, बट समवेयर इट्स during school days, my English teacher used to ask students in class like read chapter aloud one by one. So it was really difficult for me. Whenever it was my turn, I used to pray to God, please help me, I can't read, I couldn't read, because I couldn't really, I cannot explain the feeling how I used to feel, but believe me, I can feel it even now. And I used to cry inside. Seriously, I used to cry inside. It was intense for me because in English was like, I don't know what it was for me, but it was really difficult for me to read chapter in front of 40 students and in front of, because I wasn't able, I didn't know the meaning of a single word at that time. Let me tell you one thing, how I used to learn answers for exams. Because exams में तो लिखना ही पड़ता था, तो I used to, let's take an example, like one sentence. The sentence is, it is a rainy day. Okay, it is a rainy day. So I used to write in Hindi in my rough notebook. I used to write it, in Hindi, even it is a rainy day, in Hindi, totally in Hindi. Every answer I used to write in Hindi in my rough notebook, and I used to mug up multiple times, because even I used to write it and the people, every single thing, because I didn't know the meaning of any of them. That is the biggest thing, I didn't know, और किसी ने बताया भी नहीं कभी. Mm, I'm feeling something, but it's okay. That was just past. Okay. Now, like this, like mugging up things, writing in Hindi, everything, and then learning everything, I got a habit to mug up things, easily. After 3 years, I was able to mug up things directly from guide. Like for 6th, 7th, and 8th standard, I was used to write in Hindi, and from 9th standard, I started learning answers like rectification from just directly guide, but without knowing the meaning of the answer. That is the, because without knowing the meaning of any language, you are just mugging up. There is no meaning to mug up things and all. So it was going on like this. So the second embarrassing moment came to my life again. My English teacher asked us to learn 5 or 4 questions she gave us to learn, and she would take test next day. So somewhere it was difficult for me to learn 4 or 5 answers in a day, because I don't know why, but it is somewhere difficult to mug up things. Even I got the habit, but still 5 or 4 one day, because just you are mugging up things, you will gonna mix up because you don't know the meaning, you don't even understand the question, then things will gonna mix up. That's why it was difficult for me, because when I was learning one and when I switched to second, I was just mixing things and I wasn't able. So I remembered only one question. And next day, my teacher asked us to write at least 3 answers from them, out of them. And so I wrote only one answer that I remembered and one from the guide. I did cheating. And believe me, everyone was doing cheating in the class. And my teacher knew my level of English. So somehow I managed. I was really introvert, innocent girl. It was also challenging for me to do cheating. Really, my friends used to laugh at me like, you cannot even do cheating. This is, पर नहीं था मुझ में यार. So somehow I managed one answer that I remembered and one that from guide. So my teacher caught me at that day, because when she was checking my notebook, she called me, and she asked me to write both the answers, and she gave me a pen and paper and she said, sit in the boys row and write it again. और एक सहमे से बच्चे के लिए ना, ये मतलब बहुत ही डिफ़िकल्ट होता है यार. बॉयज़ रो में आई वॉज लिटरली इनोसेंट गर्ल टिल 9th or 10th standard. I wasn't even, I didn't even know all the students in my class, because मैं किसी और तरफ देखते भी नहीं थी अपने अलावा. And I was really innocent, so it was difficult for me to handle things at that time, sitting in boys row and write the answers. And I forgot the answer which I remembered. I forgot. I wasn't able to write even one single answer. She shouted on me and I was crying. And I remember that, sorry, I didn't take food that day. So उसके बाद से मुझे ना डर लगने लग गया था इंग्लिश से और इंग्लिश टीचर से, इंग्लिश से. और I used to look at my watch again and again during English class, And I used to pray a lot to my God, like, please help me, I cannot handle this. और मुझे नफरत हो गई थी इंग्लिश से, क्योंकि I, because they were not teaching us as a language, they were teaching us just as a subject, and they were saying like learn everything from guide and write the same answers that is in written in the guide. So somewhere it was difficult for me, because teachers need to understand the student who is from a village, who is from a Hindi medium background. Teachers need to understand that first. Because if I am from an English medium and I since childhood I'm learning that was okay, but I was from Hindi medium school, guys. It was difficult for me. Now a beautiful incident happened to my life that changed my perception and everything for English. Once there was a physics teacher at my school, and she used to explain everything in Hindi, speak everything in Hindi, but whenever she got angry, she used to speak in English. I don't know why, but yeah. So once she came, like she was new there in when we were in 10th standard. She came to, and then one day she was scolding students. She used English and Faratedar English, and my ears was like, wow, because it sounded so pleasant to my ears, and I was like, wow. I wasn't understanding anything at all. Believe me, honestly, I wasn't understanding anything, but somewhere it was not English for me. Let me tell you, it was not English for me. It was something different. I was feeling like, wow, but I wasn't understanding. So again, but somewhere I got this, and believe me, I used to wait for her anger, like when she will get angry and when she will speak English. So it was like nice, and it is a story of like when I fell in love with this beautiful language. Then I got to know little bit, not that much, because again the understanding to thi hi nahi kahin pe. I was zero. Let me tell you one thing. In 11th standard, we were 7 girls in my class, and I was the 7th girl. But I didn't give up. Let me tell you, I didn't give up. I was the 7th. I was the 01 in English, but it's okay. I'm working, and I didn't give up, and I believe I will become a good speaker one day. You should believe in yourself, okay? No matter you are 0, no matter you are the last one in the class. I was. मुझे देख लो यार. After that, something different, unusual again happened to me. And what was that? That was like I got admission in Central University of Jharkhand. So I landed there, and I started my graduation from Central University of Jharkhand in Korean language. Wow, 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 wow. Korean language. So every time professor used to speak in English, like not in exactly English, but whenever they explain to any grammar pattern, any expression, any vocabulary, any translation, every single thing, every Korean word or expression or conversation into English, in English, like they had to explain it in English, because how will gonna we understand like Korean directly without any other language? So that second language was English, like they used to explain in English everything. Then I understood, like करना पड़ेगा भाई, करना पड़ेगा, ये इंग्लिश आपका पीछा नहीं छोड़ेगी. Let me tell you, मुझे भी ये पता लग गया कि I have decided to pursue my graduation in Korean, but then I have to do both the languages together now. So I started learning vocabulary in Korean and in English together, and I started translating sentences from Korean to English, and vocabulary meanings, Korean vocabulary meaning in English, everything. And there were 3 other subjects like Korean culture, history, and geography. They were totally in English. We had to write every exam in English. So then when I started learning vocabulary, listening, like I used to listen professors in English, and used to started learning vocabulary and started translating. So I was doing all three things, like listening, reading when I was learning the Korean culture, Korean history, and Korean geography. So listening, reading, and writing them in the sense like translating the sentences, and yeah, reading, listening, and learning vocabulary, everything. So all three things are were like I was doing. So, but still, the topic is speaking, but there wasn't any kind of speaking. There was a test in Korean, like we had a uh, speaking test in Korean, but not in English. So I wasn't able to speak in English. And in CUJ, professor used to talk in Hindi like while like normal conversation, but during class they used to speak in English and Korean. So all three things I started there, like listening, reading, and learning vocabulary. So now I want to tell you one thing, like if you are a beginner, if you consider yourself as a beginner, so start learning vocabulary, small words with the uses of this particular word, because you know grammar, you know very well every pattern, everything. But ironically, whenever you start learning this language again, you start with grammar, tense, noun, pronoun, verb, whatever. I don't read grammar, so I don't know that much. But you start every time with grammar. No, start with vocabulary first, because whenever you are going to speak about a particular topic on a particular topic, you should know the particular vocab to explain the topic. If you don't know the particular words related to this topic, how the grammar will help you to explain this topic? No, not at all. Don't be silly now, okay? And even grammar will make you bored, and every time you will give up. So start learning vocabulary first if you are a beginner, then listening and reading. Start first inputs, okay? And I'm telling you all of this as per my experience. After completing 3 years in CUJ, I got admission in JNU. In that was in, I guess, in 2017, yeah. And in CUJ it was okay, like because while normal English, normal conversation, professors used to speak in Hindi, but in JNU the game was totally different. Game is totally different. Even now you will, if you visit JNU, professors and even students, everyone speaks in English, yeah. Okay, so it was totally different, new for me. Like at that time I realized I had to, now I have to. So somehow I managed, because professors used to speak every single time in English, and it was a little bit difficult, but it's okay. Now the third embarrassing moment came to my life. भाई कितना किया था रजनी, मैं थक गई हूँ बताते बताते, पर मैंने हार नहीं मानी कभी। मानते हो ना इस बात को? हाँ, मैं मानती हूँ. So the third embarrassing moment came to my life when one of my professors was one of my professors took an exam that was translation, Korean into English, and there were big paragraphs, like big paragraphs in Korean, and we had to translate it into English. So yeah, somewhere I made a lot of mistakes in English. In English, am I speaking slow? I don't know. I recorded whole video. I don't know now. Please guys manage it, okay? If I'm speaking really slow, I didn't even I didn't even think about it. Okay, let's do it. So my professor called me to his office, and he asked me like, Rajni, I'm really surprised that you are really good at Korean, but you made a lot of mistakes in English, the language that you have been learning for years. You are making mistakes in that. This is not good. At that day I decided, my professor said like, you have to work, you should work on your English listening, because this is not just about Korean. Whenever you will go with someone as a guide, whenever you will do as a translator, as a interpreter, you need to use this English also, so you need to work on that. At that day I decided to work on my English, but again I didn't know how. But then even it was just writing, not about speaking. So again, speaking is still missing somewhere. I wasn't speaking in English, and that was not about English. The exam was just about written. So somewhere I was confused. I totally didn't know the ways, how to start, how to speak, because I didn't have the gut to speak directly in front of professors. Tutti frutti English, kaise? How? No one can do this. I was also afraid of, like, I know just little bit, but how I can speak in front of professors. So I used to speak. Once my professor said something in English very fast. I was like, and then he said in Hindi, my God, ठीक है, हुआ जो हुआ. Yeah, but then let me tell you one incident also, one embarrassing moment, and the last one, the fourth one. बहुत कुछ हुआ था भाई, ये तो मैंने फिर भी कट कर दिया कुछ. Okay. So my one of my professors gave some topics to every student for the presentation. We had to present, we had to give presentation on a particular topic with PPT. So now you can imagine, like, a student who cannot even speak normal English, how difficult it was. And somehow I made a PPT, I made some notes, and I asked my professor, sir, can I keep the notes with me, because I cannot explain without notes and all that. So he gave permission, like, okay, you can keep notes with you. So somehow I managed, like, looking with at notes and explaining things and everything, because before the PPT, before the presentation, I revised that notes multiple times. Then I was able to speak there in front of 40 students and a professor. But at the end, my professor asked a question. ऐसा ही silent हुआ था मैं. My professor asked a question, simple words meaning, like a meaning of a particular word, and I wasn't able to answer it. And believe me guys, this was the worst moment of my life, because this was just a word and I didn't know. Worst moment of my life. And my professor, after that, everyone was looking at me. Why it was worse? Because 40 students in JNU, one professor, and for students who were really good at English. It was difficult, and it was embarrassing because it was just a word and I didn't know the meaning. That's why it was really embarrassing. It wasn't anything like bigger or an explanation. No, I didn't need to explain something in detail, but it was just a word. That's why it was worst moment of my life. Then the professor started giving a lecture, and the lecture was ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे पूरा lecture मुझ पे ही चल रहा है. Really embarrassing moment. So like this, I have done my graduation from JNU. But now you will ask one question. I know, where is the speaking part, Rajni? But let me tell you one thing. First need to input. So all that was happening till then was input. Was reading, writing, or learning vocabulary and a lot of things. बट स्पीकिंग कहाँ है भाई? हम तो उसको सुनने आए थे ना. बट ये भी एक पार्ट था, ठीक है. ओके, नाउ व्हेन स्पीकिंग टुक part in my place in my life. So yeah, when Corona came, like Corona was on its peak, I started preparing for banking exam. Banking exam मुझे नहीं आ रहा था मुझे बिल्कुल भी, but I started. So I started reading the Hindu newspaper with Nimisha Bansal ma'am. If you don't know about her, just search it right now. Okay, so I started reading the Hindu newspaper with Nimisha Bansal ma'am, and I started learning vocabularies again, vocabulary and the Hindu reading. And then at that time I got a new habit to wake up early at around 4:30 and watch 1 hour a movie in English. So like this, I was building a habit in me, like I need to wake up at 4:30 every single day. So I was doing like, कहावत है ना, एक तीर से दो निशाने, killing two birds with one stone, like listening 1 hour early in the morning and waking up. So I think I shared this trick before. So it is a good trick. Wake up early, your mind will get this message like, okay, I'm going to watch a movie now. So like this, I was able to build this habit, honestly. And after some time, I switched from movie to podcast. And I started watching podcasts for 1 hour every day. And after that, I switched to watch conversations. Like I was enjoying process and I was getting the patterns in my mind. Like, it took a lot of time for me. Why? Because I wasn't able to read grammar from books. If you can, do, but not that much. Do with the practice. Like whenever you learn a single pattern, try to use it and not just mug up grammar patterns a lot. No, don't do like this. But I don't even learn one pattern or anything from book, honestly. I have just learned everything through listening. Yeah. So I started listening conversations, clapping conversation. I got to know about clapping and all that. Then I decided the day in 2022 August. In August 2022, I came to Jaipur because after that, after preparing for 2 years for banking exam, I understood myself very well. And after listening a lot of podcasts, I got this mindset. It will change your mindset, and changed my mindset. Like, Rajni, if you're not enjoying, if you are, that is not your cup of tea, you have to switch, you have to move on. That podcast gave me the power to change. So guys, after coming here, like in Jaipur, I took subscription for 3 months of Clappingo. So this is totally different. Like reading, writing, learning vocabulary, and speaking. Speaking is totally different, totally entirely. Because when you start speaking, you will see yourself like you are making a lot of mistakes. And I used to make a lot of mistakes. And one thing was like, for speaking, you need to start speaking. These days, you have a lot of people, many people who are suggesting you, who are guiding you how you can start, like me. And there are a lot of YouTubers also. There are a lot of applications, and on Clappingo, I got a lot feedback like how I can. Uh, what are the things that I need to work on, like vocabulary in the sense like how to use it deliberately while speaking. And I was making a lot of mistakes, and I need to work on my pronunciation because there was a mother tongue influence, okay, while speaking. So I got a lot of feedback. So feedback also really work wonders, because you need to find a partner who can give you feedbacks properly. That is one thing I realized, like without feedback it's not easy. For that, like one again thing, like we cannot afford clapping go. So where we will get feedbacks? Okay. So you know uh, uh from where it is totally difficult, but you can do one thing: just record yourself in camera and listen again and again. Because while listening, you will understand, like, okay, I am making mistakes there, and this is a little bit different, and then it should be what it should be. So this is the first way. And then if you are able to find a partner like who can correct you, then it means you are really lucky. It's good if you find. So I worked on feedbacks first. Find a partner, or do things like from where you can get feedback, and start working on feedback. And one by one, like pronunciation, vocabulary, how to use vocabulary deliberately while speaking. And how much vocabularies we learn and we know. Like I know many because I was preparing for banking, and I was reading the Hindu newspaper every day, so I know a lot of vocabularies. But when it comes to speaking English, it is difficult to use vocabulary. It is, because it is not about language. Forget about language, it is about skill. And we have to work on this skill. We have to build this skill, like how to use these vocabs while speaking in English. So I'm working on that. I'm learning still. I'm making a lot of mistakes. Believe me, one thing, I want to say you, like, make a lot of mistakes and learn from that, because there is nothing that you will do without making mistakes. Nothing. You are not perfect already. If you are perfect, why you are doing? And if you are doing, it means you are not perfect. So mistakes are inevitable in that situation. Getting my point? So just don't think about mistakes, and don't think about people who are going to laugh at you. No, don't think about that, because a particular person who is going to laugh at you, he or she is, I think, for 2 years with you, and for the people around you, maybe they are just for 4 years with you. After that, they will forget you, you will forget them. No, like, I'm here in PG, and there are many girls, and they know me, but for how much long? For 2 years or for 1 year? So don't think about people, okay? Keep growing, keep shining, keep making a lot of mistakes, and learn from the mistakes, and work every single day. Consistency is very, very important. Since then, like, when I took the subscription, since then I am really consistent with this. And what is making me again good at this language, and a good speaker at this language, is just consistency. Consistency is key when it comes to speaking English, okay? So maintain your consistency, important, okay? And yeah, that's it. I'm still learning. I hope I will become a good speaker one day, because I'm working on myself every single day. And keep growing, keep shining, guys. I always hope you will guys do whatever you are thinking, like, just like becoming a good speaker, like anyone. You have, definitely you have someone in your mind, like, you want to speak like this, you want to speak like her, kind of. So but don't about think about mistakes, and do. And yeah, that's it. That was my story. I don't know you liked it or not, but I don't know, it was all struggle. It is still going on, and I believe in that, like, English is a language, and language evolves every single day. So it is a lifelong journey, and don't be mad at, like, why I'm not learning. I'm doing for one day or 1 month and 2 months, why I'm not progressing, why I'm not able to see the result in me. Don't be harsh with yourself, okay? Because it takes time. It takes time, believe me, it takes. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. And I cut many parts in between, because there was some sound, music, background noise, and so many things. And that was really, really a long video. That's why. But thank you so much for watching this, and yeah, bye bye.